I hope you guys are very excited, eh? You know, somebody's going to be a millionaire here.
Yes.
You know, I've got a motto for Game Changers that I'm thinking, and that motto says that prosperity, we don't just preach it, we live it. You see, this is the one thing that I think, we need to get to. This is the next level, guys, where you don't just talk about it. You see, you don't just talk about it. You actually take time to do it. People pray for it, they preach it, they claim it, they do all sorts of things. But I think at the end of the day, it's actually in your hands to make your dream come true. And that is what Game Changers Club is all about. It's a club of people that say that I want to achieve something, I have a dream, and I'm willing to work for it. Do you see the difference? Some of you go to concerts, some of you go to churches, some of you go to try to be friends with business people and so forth, because you feel important when you're in their presence. But I'm saying we need to change that thinking. Be the change, right? Don't just say, I want to be like this, I want to be like this. No, be that person or be yourself. But work on your dream, right? So I want to just introduce, so this is what Game Changers Club is about. It's really about people who go beyond just desiring things and saying, I want this. And they're willing to put their put in the work, put in the hard work, roll their sleeves, get dirty, until their dream comes to pass. So as you can see, generally when you ask people to now say, let's do the work, Miles Monroe always used to say that when he would have a conference where he would be speaking these nice things, it would be full. But the moment he says, now we're going to have a seminar, workshop, there would be about 20 people. Imagine Miles Monroe having 20 people in his meeting also. Why? Because people don't like to work. People desire things. They like things. But not too many actually wanted to put in the hard work. Okay? So Game Changers Club is a congregation. It's a litany. It's a squadron. It's a collection of people who think like that, who say, we've got a dream, we're going to pursue it with tenacity, and we're going to see it happen. We're going to accomplish it. Do you see what I mean? And more importantly, there are social outcomes here. In other words, you make money, you chase your dream, but your dream must not benefit others. I'm not here to encourage you to make money and be greedy about it. I'm encouraging you to make money so that you can use it for good. You benefit from it, your family benefits from it, but society also benefits from it. So we're not talking about greed and so forth. No, we're talking about making money that produces social outcomes, good outcomes, philanthropic outcomes. Are we together? One of the organizations I support is called Medicine Sans Frontier, Doctors Without Borders. I've never met them, but I've watched their program and I love what they do. So every month I give 200 rand. It's a debit order. It's not much. But they told me one day that I think that 200 rand per month for that year had fed like 100,000 people. They had given 100,000 people access to clean water. Is what I'm talking about. So you might think it's small, but it actually does a big difference. So that's what the whole idea of making money is. Today it's 200 rand. Maybe next time it will be 2 million rand. I don't know. But that's what you should make money for. You make money because, yes, you do want to benefit from it, but always have social outcomes. Find out how you can also help others. If you do that and you give like that, you tend to prosper more. All right? So that is the game changers mentality. That's how a game changer thinks. Are we together? Now, so I'll introduce myself. You guys know me, obviously, as the pastor of Anonymous Life Ministries, but I've always loved entrepreneurship or enterprise, And my first proper business venture was when I was about 1.5 years out of university, and I started a company called Inspired International, Inspired Technologies, or Inspired Communications. So it was registered as Inspired Communications actually, and it was a telecoms business. I started it. Within 6 months, I raised £4,000 and bought me equipment for these little phones and so forth. But I was in Zim. Shortly after I started the business, the inflation shot to 1,000%. The dollar lost value, and within 6 months I went bust. It was a very difficult thing to close your office and tell guys there's no more work. After that, I came to South Africa. I didn't want to hear about business. I did not want to hear about it. I was very upset with the whole thing, because I put 4,000 pounds. Now I owed people, I couldn't pay them back. And I'm here in South Africa now trying to make a living. So in 2005 is when I came to SA. Then in 2010 I started another company called Ready Consulting. I was ready to try again. Ready Consulting is still alive and well today. We're no longer doing business consulting, but it is now doing some work in the infrastructure space. You know, some of you guys know it. Right, so we are now doing construction and so forth, and we're going to go more into systems, air conditioning systems, security systems, alarm systems, you know, that kind of thing. IT systems. It's now a systems company, right? And then in 2014, I started a company called Kulisa Construction, which has become really good, like relatively big. So I started Kulisa Construction, and I partnered with a few people. Kulisa Construction is still working. Then last year I started Kulisa Tech, which is a company that is active in the tech space. It's like a tech hub. We're building it into a tech hub, right? I also started last year, but another one called Inspired Consortium, and Lindy works for it because she's the manager. You see what I mean? So all these things, I now have all these companies that I'm already Kulisa Tech, Kulisa Construction, Inspired Consortium. And now we have also, with all of us here, launched Game Changers Club. That's the 5th one. You see what I mean? I'm telling you this for a reason. All these companies are doing well. All of them are doing well. Maybe except one, which is having challenges, but these are more temporary challenges than anything else. So the question is, how is it that I'm able to build so many companies and save time for my wife and my daughter, and still build a church as well, and so forth? How do you do it? It's because I've mastered a certain model, which is what I want to share with you guys. All right? So you're in good hands. I know what I'm talking about. Okay? So once I share this model with you, and my wife knows it, but once I share this model with you, it's going to become very easy for you guys to start building businesses. As many as you want. It's a very easy model. The problem we have is that most people go to business school. They are not taught how to build a business. They are taught about what it means to run a business. You go to these places in Centrum where these big speakers come. All those guys come and they want your money. They make you pay because they're assuming you're already in business. You know, now they tell you want to help you grow your business and so forth. What about me? I don't have a business. I want to know, how do I start? You see what I mean? So what I've designed here is a program that targets people at the grassroots, where you're saying, I'm already here, I'm here, I've got no business, I've got no money, I've got nothing, but I really want to run a business, or I really want to run an organization. Because for some of you, it may not actually be a business that you want to do. Some of you just want to build organizations. You see what I'm talking about? So what do you do? So I needed something that would not aim at established businesses necessarily, but I wanted something that would target someone who's at the grassroots level. Then grow with them from the time that they say, I've got my idea, grow with idea until such a time as the business is growing. Then I can also help them grow into the next level, or to the next level. Do you understand what I mean? So all of you guys here, generally you're at the grassroots level, except maybe Tendai, where you are at this point where you are thinking of doing business. Some of you don't even know what to do. Like, I'm not so sure what I want to do. So I'm going to help you to select the idea that's going to work for you. You see what I'm talking about? So this Game Changers class, right? There's the club. Game Changers Club is a congregation of people who think like I described. But the Game Changers class now is aimed at now bringing these ideas into life. And I'm going to be doing it once a month for the next 6 months. What are the outcomes? The outcomes are, at the end of the 6 months, you must have a functioning business, if you want. All right, that's the first outcome. You must have a functioning business if you want. The second outcome is, if you are not ready, maybe like Tony, you're still, sorry, but Tony, Roland, you're still studying. What we want is, you must be very clear about what you want to do with your life. Even if you change your idea, but the same methodology, the same strategy will apply. You see what I'm talking about? But it may be a different idea, you know. It may be a different idea, but the same methodology applies. So I think we are clear about what we're trying to do here, right? Yeah. Right. So it is good that there's just about 5, 6 of us right, with Queen. She's on her way now. But the idea is to grow this thing into something that's going to grow big, right? Now let me, before I go into my presentation, let me just tell you something that's very, very important. As you can see, there are a couple of things that I do. One thing I want to encourage you to do is create a platform for your gift. Create a platform for your talent, okay? A lot of people wait to be called. Like me, I could have focused my attention to say, guys, I've got something special here. I want you to invite me to your conferences. Do you see what I mean? I know something. Then I will try to be linking up to these guys. And I'm not saying that's bad. No, that's a great thing. You can hook up with all these guys who come and so forth, get your name out there. But what I've learned, which is better, is create your own platform. It's so much easier. Let us say you've got a desire in your heart where you're like, I really want to do this thing, but nobody is inviting me, or nobody knows me, and so forth. The best thing you can do is to start from scratch. Create your own platform. I have a desire to motivate people, to inspire people. I have a desire to mentor. I have a desire to coach. I have a desire to impart knowledge. I'm a man of wisdom, all right? I've got abundance of wisdom. It's my gift. Wisdom simply means the ability to apply knowledge. I read a lot, and I want to apply it. That's what I love, and then I want to share with people, okay? So, Game Changers, this is my platform. I created this platform for that purpose. So I'm not going to blame you, Kudzi, or Lindy, or Tendai, or anyone, for not being fulfilled. And say, why don't you guys invite me? Why don't you create platforms for me? I create a platform for my gift. Then when I do it, I fulfill my need. And that's why generally I'm a very satisfied person. Generally, why? Because I create a platform for my gift. The problem is most of us, we are always looking at other people to create platforms for us. I knew that I've got a gift to teach the word of God. I knew that I had a gift to maybe to prophesy. I knew I had a gift to do apostolic work, right? And I could have started to say, no, guys, I want you to ordain me as a pastor. Or I would say, no, I want to come to your conference. Those people who write you in your inbox and say, hey, I'm a prophet, I want to come to your church. I could have done that. I want to do this. But I knew I wanted to preach the word. I knew. So what did I do? I started a ministry. That's what I'm talking about. So the main thing here is, the main thing about this issue is, are you willing to pay the price? That is the only qualification that I now am very convinced, you need to do anything you want in life. Ministry, for example, is not about, I think God has called most of us. I think very few people actually respond to the call, but I believe that there are more people called than actually ministry. So I don't think the issue is calling. The issue is people don't want to pay the price to be in ministry. It's difficult. But at the same time, they don't want to pay the price for to be in ministry. But at the same time, they want the satisfaction that comes. So they wait for you to put in the hard work, doing all these things. When you are done, then they say, I'm a prophet, I want to come to a pulpit. Then you say no, then they're like, no, you are selfish, you don't work with the body of Christ well. And then they start to say, no, the church doesn't like my message and so forth. No. The church is those people who paid the price. Now you didn't pay the price. You want to come and stand it on someone's pulpit and do whatever you want. Then you become a superstar. Do you see what I mean? So what I'm trying to say is this. The qualification to be great, to do anything great in your life, is really paying the price. Willingness to pay the price. Talent is not the qualification, my friend. Networks is not the qualification. The qualification is, are you willing to pay the price? Right? So for example, imagine this. I paid 1,500 Rand for this from my own pocket. You guys came here, right, for free. Look at how beautiful it is. It's a small thing, but you can see the effort that went into it. Someone says, but Ray, why do you do that? You could have used that 1,500 for something. And those thoughts even came to me and said, I really need to do this. Then I remembered that this is the seed for Game Changers Club, the big company. Where now, to speak like this, every one of you will pay 1,000 Rand. So if you go 20 people, that's 20,000 Rand for a 2-hour session. If you do 4 of them, that's 80,000 Rand. And I do it during my free time. What about if I want to do it during the week as well? Before you know it, you're looking at 100K a month. Do you see how you think? So the 1,500 Rand is not much. It is the price I'm willing to pay. I could have been with my wife, right now at home enjoying ourselves and our kids and so forth. But we are here. Well, why do you do that? Tomorrow you're in church, I'm paying the price for my dream, for my talent. Do you see what I'm talking about? You see the ministry is growing. It's growing, right? You can see we're getting influence and so forth. But you know how we started. I would wake up at 4 in the morning, you know, drive, pick up people, get help, you know, with certain instruments and so forth, paying money that I sometimes didn't have. But one day the ministry is going to be a big thing, and then everybody will be like, wow, there's this place where it's happening. Someone was paying the price for that. Do you understand what I mean? So here's the question. Are you willing to pay the price for your dream? Are you willing to pay the price required to create a platform for your dream? Are you waiting for others to make your dream come true? Are you bitter at people who don't make your dream come true because you think the world owes you something? No, the world owes you nothing. Do you see what I mean? Whatever dream you're writing today, if you're willing to pay the price, you will achieve it. I said I think once when I was preaching, I said, how prosperous I'm going to be in my life is going to be determined. The limiting factor to that is how much time I want to spend with my family. How much time I want to spend with my family. Do you see what I mean? In other words, I could become as prosperous as I want. I could make as much money as I want. But there are more important things than making money, and that's my family. So, to the degree that I'm willing to take time for my family to focus on business, to that same degree I also make money. So my limiting factor is my family. I put that as my safety valve. You can't make money for the sake of making money. Some things are more important than money. So what are those things? That becomes your limiting factor. It's a limiting factor, not in a bad way, but it's like your safety valve that says you are starting to lose your mind. So I'll never do drugs. I'll never sell drugs to make money. Because I don't want to be arrested and my family, you know, grows without me. Do you know what I mean? So there's always going to be, you have to ask yourself, how far am I willing to go to see my dream come to pass? Are we together? Yes. All right. So this is what Game Changers class is about. I'm going to be teaching you to do this thing that we call paying the price. That's what it is about. You guys are paying the price for your dream from today onwards. Makes sense, right? Yeah. All right, I think that introduction is enough. Everybody, any questions so far? You must ask questions, all right? Okay, so today now, let us move on. Okay, what's going on? Creating sustainable businesses. Creating sustainable business. So what we want to do is we want to not just do businesses that last, you know, one generation and then they are gone. You know those kinds of businesses. You know. I'm sure you guys know. I'm sure you guys know someone who used to be. Sorry, guys. I'm sure you guys know someone who used to be, you know, a business person. Maybe they were running a butchery or something. You know that butchery by the corner that you grew up. If you go back, there it's no longer there. Or you know that bus company, you know, Yellow, Shushine, Chawuya, I don't know from Mozambique what you guys have. But the day the owner of that bus died was the day that the company went down. Do you see what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. That was the day that the company died. Do you see what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. So that is not what we are trying to do. What we're trying to do here is we are trying to create sustainable businesses. All right? We are trying to create sustainable businesses. Namnasha, go. It is presenting. Okay. Hello, sir.
How are you?
So creating sustainable businesses means that your businesses lives on after you. All right? So even if, let's say, for some reason I decide that I'm going to start doing something else as Raymond, the Game Changers group, because that is what all those companies I was mentioning comprise, they become known as the Game Changers group, right? And I'm the executive chairman of the Game Changers group. Even if I decide that I'm going to do something else, the group itself must still go on. Do you see what I'm talking about? It must not end with me. If I die, for example, this group must keep on going. So when you start to develop your business, develop it to be multi-generational, Simon. All right? A lot of you guys say that I am a business person, but the truth of the matter is that you are really just self-employed. Because once you don't show up on site, when you don't show up at the office, no money is going to be created that day. That is not called business. That is called being self-employed. In other words, you depend on yourself to make money. So what you want to do is you want to create a sustainable business, which means that whether or not you are there, the business goes on. Even if you die, the business goes on. They must just appoint another CEO who also one day leave and then they'll appoint another CEO. Who's the owner of Standard Bank? Who knows? Okay, what about Standard Chartered? Who knows? Who's the owner of Ford Motors? Ford, BMW, Mercedes-Benz. This guy called Mercedes or whatever, Mercedes-Benz, the guy who he died a long time ago. But it's the biggest car manufacturer, I think, in the world, one of the biggest. This is what I'm talking about. Sustainable businesses, multi-generational businesses. This is what I'm talking about. So the problem that we have, especially in the black community, are these small businesses, you know, that just operate today and then tomorrow they are gone. We don't think things through. All right. So we want to create what? Sustainable businesses. Are we together? Now, let me see. So we are going to talk about the ABCs of venture creation. Like I said, we're going to take it from the grassroots. Those of you guys who are in business, you're going to get a clearer understanding of what you're actually trying to do with your business. Is okay? Right? But for those who don't have anything, yet, don't you worry. You're going to start from somewhere. All right? So the ABCs of what? Of venture creation. All right? Now, let's look at that. The first thing that you need to understand when we talk about business, what is business? What is a venture, right? Venture creation. Venture creation, when I say ventures, I'm talking about the vehicle that you want to use, right? So, for example, Kulisa Construction is a venture. It's my venture. Game Changers Club is a venture, right? So, how do you create a venture? How do you become a business person? The first thing that I need you to understand is that you need to understand what is called value creation. All right, value creation. The basis of business, the basis of success in business is understanding how to create value. Are we together? Now, I'm going to give you a definition of that value creation, right? Let's look at that. Number one, value creation is producing something of value that people are willing to pay the price for because they consider what you're offering to be of greater value. This statement alone is the basis of business. All right? That statement alone. All the businesses you can think of in this world, all of them are because of this thing. Just understanding the ability to produce something of value that people are willing to pay a price for because they consider what you're offering to be of greater value. You see what I mean? Think about it. If you go to a doctor and you have got a tooth, let's say a dentist, and your tooth is killing you, you know there's so much pain. Do you know that at that point, even if the doctor says, I'll give me 20,000 rand and I will relieve you of your pain, you will give, if you have it, you will give him. You can fight about the fact that you overpriced, but at that point, if he's the only doctor in town, you will give him that money. Do you know that? Why? Because you are considering what? You are considering what he is offering to be of greater value, or at the least equal value to what you are parting with. So I'm going to pay 20,000 rand to the doctor because I'm saying, doctor, what you're going to do to me is worth 20,000 rand or more. Do you understand what I mean? So the only reason I'm going to part with my money is because I believe that your service is, I need it more than I need my money. If you are hungry, you're going to go to the restaurant and give them money. Because at that point, what you need is not money. What you need is food. So there's an exchange of value. But that person, on the other hand, is saying, what I need is not just the food, I need money. So he gets money and you get food. There's an exchange of value there. Do you know what I'm talking about? So this here is the basis. It's very important for you guys to understand this. This is the basis of business. if you understand that you're going to make money, because what you're going to now do is you're going to start to look for value creation opportunities. If as long as people think that what you're offering is more important than the money that they carry, they will gladly give you their money. And that is the reason why people will charter your planes. Because they want to get to another place. So what does it help me to have £1 million here when I would rather be in that other place, corner of the world? Because what I want to do is more important than me being here. I'll part with my £1 million and give it to you. Do you understand what I'm talking about? So value creation always starts, business always starts with the ability to create value. The ability to understand opportunities where you can produce value that people will start to say, I'm going to pay for it. Are we together? Mm-hmm. So this principle number one, value creation is producing something of value that people are willing to pay a price for because they consider what you're offering to be of what? Of greater value or even equal value. Okay. Now look at that. The first ingredient is knowledge or an idea or seed. So now how do you create value? I'm now taking you through the value creation process. Okay, how do you create value? All right, how do you create value? How do you say, all right, now I understand that value creation is the key to making money. But what is the process of creating the value itself? Number one, you start with what? With an idea. You start with the what? With a seed. You start with what? With knowledge. Knowledge, idea, or seed, they are the same thing. So the first thing you need to make money, to build a business, is what? Is an idea. So here we are. I'm giving an example. I'm not here to just talk. This is going to make me a lot of money in the future. But it's an idea. Because my idea is, if enough people start to hear about what I have to share, I can get to a point where I start to charge for this, like I said, and people will pay for it. And then I'm going to make money on my weekends, during weekends. Never mind what's going on. As we are speaking here, some of my guys are on site, they are working, but I'm here still making money. They are still making money, I'm here, I'm still making money. So your whole life becomes about value production. You're always producing value, even during weekends. Do you know what I'm talking about? So that was my idea. My idea was start Game Changers Club and invest yourself in reading and studying this thing and understanding business. Then start to sell your time and your knowledge. Do you see what I mean? So the reason why people will pay to come and see me is because now I'm now selling what? My knowledge. I'm selling my time. So for those 3 hours, each one of you, for example, will pay 1,000 rand, like I was saying. I'm now selling that. That's my idea. So here is the question I have for you. What is your idea? What is the idea that you have to say, this idea is the one that's I'm gonna use this idea to create value. Out of this idea, people will start to pay something that I produce. You see what I mean? Now, why is this important to understand the idea or the knowledge? It's because you can't do what everybody's doing all the time. You see? Like I was saying the other time, you know, in Zim, these days, there's money in quail farming, you know, Zuhuta. Then everybody decided to do that same thing. Then we had, no. Now the money is in I don't know, something else, maybe construction. Now everybody does that. No. Now we are importing things from China. Everybody does that. No. Now we are importing cars from Japan, ex-Japan model. Everybody does that. No. Now you see, now you need these tablets for cleaning water. Everybody does that. So now you ask someone, what are you doing now? I don't do here, you know. I'm just doing something to make money. Anything that makes money, do it. Now that's okay, but that is called subsistent thinking. In other words, you are living from hand to mouth. Yeah. But that is not the way to create what? Sustainable businesses. Yeah. So this is the reason why your idea is so important. Your idea should give birth to a sustainable business. If you guys are here to survive, then you are the wrong market for me. I'm not trying to talk to guys like that. I'm talking about guys who are going to build multinational companies, multi-generational companies. Are we together? So your idea must be something sustainable. It must be very clear. You must know what your idea is. So if you came with 3 or 4 ideas, by the end of this session, I hope you have one that is very clear. Even if you've got 3 ideas, that's okay. But you have a clear idea. I have a problem with you if you say I don't even have an idea. I'll just see. We'll just be seeing what's selling, what's making money. That's what I'll be doing, No, man. If you do that, then you'll never really, really make money. If you make money, you're lucky. You're just lucky. You see what I mean? But we're talking about a deterministic model. All right? Now, shall we move? So the first ingredient is what? Is knowledge or an idea or seed. Right? Now look at that. Next is understanding of the potential impact of your idea. Now that I've got an idea, this is Game Changers Club. It's my idea. I'm going to be selling knowledge and time to people who want to build businesses. I'm clear about the idea. The question is, you now need to understand the potential impact of your idea. Is your idea powerful or not? And if it's powerful, how powerful is your idea? This is what I'm talking about. This Game Changers Club, does it have the power to bring so much impact that I can now start to do conferences where I've got 1,000 delegates? And when I do this thing, when I share what I have to share, can it truly impact my market to the point where they will also start to see results in their businesses so that they can start to market me and say, no, Raymond is the guy who's doing this. And then every year, maybe when I do my conferences, more and more people start to come. How powerful is your idea? Or maybe your idea is going to be for just 10, 20 people. You see? That's not going to be a sustainable business. You may have a business idea, but you may not have a very big market. So that is the reason why you must have an idea, but you must understand the potential impact of your idea. Some of you say, no, I want to make 100 million rand, for example. I want a business with 100 million rand. But your idea really is a 500,000 rand idea. Because there simply is no market for that. You see what I mean? I mean, it's like saying that I want to start a business that makes, landing wheels for a rocket, The only market you have are the NASAs and so forth. And they are serious companies. This is what I'm talking about. It's a good idea, it could make you money, but how powerful is your idea within your hands? Can you actually make it come to pass? You see what I mean? But if you do something that you know that this is an idea, I can actually develop this, then it's powerful for you. So you need to know the impact of your idea. You need to know your idea and how powerful it is. If you don't think your idea is powerful and you don't see the impact of your idea, that is why I said even if you put 3 ideas, you must have 1 left. You must find an idea that is going to address your outcomes. It should be able to take you where you want. Are we together? I want to give you an example. In our construction business, one of the things that I want to do in Inspired Construction, one of the things that I want to do is I want to start thinking now about, new technologies in the building industry, because now this brick and mortar type of things that we are used to, this technology is going out now. It's being phased out. We're starting to see houses being printed by 3D machines. You print a house, you literally print a house. You know how we used to print a house on paper? Now you've got a machine that literally prints something like this. This place, this home here, can take a day. Done. In a day, this house is done. But if you're building, people like Simon, take a couple of days to really do everything. With 3D printing, in a day, you've got a house. So I can tell you I'm selling houses. Where is the house? It's there. But there's nothing. Now it will be there. Come back tomorrow, it will be there. I can literally print the house for you while you're waiting. You see what I'm talking about? Imagine if we brought that technology to South Africa where there's a serious housing shortage, and we start to be the company that is printing houses for people. Do you see what I'm talking about? Yes. What am I talking about? Impact. Or you can start a construction business and do everything that everybody's been doing. You're not going to be that big because everybody's doing brick and mortar. So you need already to be thinking about the potential of impact. So for me in construction, that is my idea. I've got guys in construction. Right? If I see you starting to do that, I'll kill you myself. No, I'm joking. There's room enough. I mean, we haven't even talked about Zimbabwe, we haven't talked about Malawi, we haven't talked about the rest of Africa, the developing world. There is serious potential in this idea. Do you get my point? So you must have an idea and think of what is the impact of it. You shouldn't just wake up and go to work every day. Like, I'm working these days, I'm working, I'm busy. You must be working, you must be busy, but you must understand that you must be working on something with a lot of potential. Are we together? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, let us move on. Are you getting something out of this? Mm-hmm. Then, so that is understanding, right? Understanding of how powerful your idea is. Then you need this thing called wisdom. Finally, wisdom to understand how to unlock that potential in practical ways. I'm enjoying this. Are you learning something? Mm-hmm. So now when you've got an idea, you now understand how powerful that idea can be, how big it is. Now you need to understand how to unlock that potential. So your idea that you have, how are you going to unlock the potential of it? For example, the idea of the printing of houses that I was talking about. My question is to myself, how am I going to make that a reality? That is now called wisdom. This is what I'm talking about. Game Changers Club. How am I going to now make it work? First of all, wisdom is what now caused me to book this venue. I said, you know what? Let me book a venue in Randburg. Number one. Number two, you know, this venue must be nice. It must be nice. It must show that I'm serious. You see? So I didn't find you guys a place under a tree and say, no. If I'm going to be talking to millionaires, you want to be in a venue like this. We are recording on Facebook. I'm recording a video with my iPad. What do you think I'm going to do with that? I'm going to now market. Why? Because now I am using wisdom to unlock that potential. So I then say to myself, I'm going to be doing this every month. What is that? That's practical knowledge of my wisdom. Practical application, rather, of my knowledge. Do you know what I mean? So the question is, the idea that you have, my question is, how are you going to actually unlock it? How are you going to make it transition from just understanding its impact to actually making it a dream? This is where we separate, as they say, the men from the boys. This is where the tire, you know, is the rubber. Or the rubber is the road, sorry. That's where the rubber is the road. Because a lot of you might have an idea, you might even understand that this is a powerful idea, but wisdom now is where you go into the practicals and say, I'm going to make it happen. I'm not interested in people who talk. I mean, I've got people, you know, there are some people who can talk. Do you know that? You listen to this person, you're like, my goodness, who's this guy? No, as long as you are not at this stage of wisdom, I don't want to listen to you. You're wasting my time. I've heard people pitch, you know, I don't know, man, amazing business concepts. Until it was time to deliver, they delivered nothing because they didn't even know how to make things happen. Makes sense? So, as I'm presenting like this, I want you to be thinking of your ideas and how each one of these points that I'm presenting affects your idea. Are we together? All right. Remember, today is just session 1, okay? Right. Now, let's go on. Now, the last point I want to make here is the difference between invention and innovation. There's a reason why I'm talking about it. Invention brings an original solution to a pain point, whereas innovation improves on the solution. Some of you call themselves entrepreneurs, but I want to define an entrepreneur. What is an entrepreneur? I'm sure everybody hears the word, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. But there are very, very few real entrepreneurs in the true essence of the word. Entrepreneurs, in the true essence of the word, are inventors. Right? But what is an invention? Or inventor? It's someone who invents, who brings an original solution to a pain point. It's something that's not been done before. That's an entrepreneur. Right? For example, the man who made the first telephone, that's an entrepreneur. The man, Henry Ford, who made the first car, that's an entrepreneur. The Wright brothers, the people who made the first aeroplane, that's an entrepreneur. There are so many people who invented building, wood, things, so many. They are entrepreneurs. You bring a solution that is completely original. Before you, that solution is not known. Right? So you can be either an inventor or an entrepreneur, or you can be an innovator. An innovator now improves on existing solutions. You just make them better. Do you see what I mean? Now, here is the thing, why I put this point. Tendai, it's far easier to be an innovator than an inventor. Because invention requires a lot of money in research and development, and testing markets and doing all things and trying, and then it doesn't work and so forth and that kind of thing, right? If you have that gift where you are highly creative, highly imaginative, by all means become an inventor, invent new solutions. But most of the people are not inventors. Most of the people are innovators because maybe you don't even have the resources for invention. People like Steve Jobs, those are inventors. He literally moved the whole phone industry from where it was with the Nokias and everything to these smartphones. He invented smartphones. But the Samsungs are not entrepreneurs. Those guys are just innovators because they saw what he was doing. They took that same thing, started to make it cheaper, started to add more applications. That's innovation. And now Samsung is a very big brand. We don't all have to be Steve Jobs, but we can all be Samsung. You see what I mean? So here's what you need to do about your idea. Find something, what I'm calling a pain point. What is it that is really bothering people? What do people want? What is the need? So like your idea. Christian couples want a place where they can go and date. They want that place, right? They want to go and have date nights. They want to go and have places where they can go with their wives and their loved ones and so forth. But the only place that you can go to these days is a club. Go to Gentemba or whatever these clubs, you know. But now you don't want to go there because people are there. All sorts of people are there. People are smoking, they're drinking, they're doing all sorts of things, you know. So what happens? Christians are always cooped in their houses because there's not a place like that. And my wife is deciding that she wants to solve that problem. Because women are romantic. Women love. They love romance. Right? Men are very much focused on the issue of I want to achieve this, I want to achieve this. But women need that. So and you know what, if your woman needs it, trust me, you also need it. Whether you need it or not. Now you are also going to need it. Simon knows what I'm talking about. If your wife needs it, you need it. It's a simple, isn't it? Whereas your husband may need it, but your wife doesn't have to, right? You may have a drive for business and your wife may not be into that kind of thing. But if your wife tells you that I need some quality time, then at that very point, it's now a need of yours too, if you are smart. So a pain point is to say, we want to be romanced. We want romance in couples. But where do we find this? We don't find it. All we do as Christians, we go to church, sing, dance, and that's it. Until Sunday, right? So she's decided that she's going to build a book cafe where Christian couples can come with their husbands and their wives and dance, and there will be presentations, there's going to be poetry sessions. It's actually an amazing idea. It's actually an amazing idea. Hello, Queen. Please take a seat. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. And I really think this idea will work, don't you? I mean, imagine when you can go with your wife and you date your wife, man, or your husband. And it's got everything that you need. You can dance, there's all sorts of music and so forth, which is clean and so forth. This is a big market because now you can go and market it in churches. Imagine that. Go from church to church, talk about your idea. You're going to have this thing oversubscribed. You see what I mean? What is that? You are solving a pain point. What is the potential of that idea? The potential of this idea is amazing because how many churches do we have in the world? We have got about 3 billion Christians in this world. South Africa alone, hundreds of, tens of millions. And that is your market. And you're probably the only one of your kind. So when we talk about wisdom, when we talk about understanding the potential impact of your idea, I would say this idea has got lots of impact. Because it's solving a specific pain point. You see what I mean? Now, innovation improves on the solution. Now listen to this. This idea I'm talking about, we already have clubs, don't we? We already have these places where people go to, don't we? So my wife doesn't need to come up with anything original. Like saying, no, I'm going to build a floating club or something like that. She must just take the principles that are there and then sanctify them. Right? Then you have one way sanctified club where Christians can go and enjoy themselves. That is called innovation. This is what I'm talking about. You are taking an existing thing, but you've discerned, you've seen that there is a certain market that wants that kind of thing, but they just can't go to that other club. So you create something that befits the market you want. You've now become an innovator. So what I want to say is that innovation is the best way to go. I encourage you to be innovators. Don't try to be, the inventors, all the time. If you can't do that because you need lots of resources, and you also need a lot of time in testing and so forth, find something that is out there, make it better, or find a different market for it, and be the face of that thing. You're going to make money. Because what you've done is you've created value. So for in this book cafe, people will go with their wives and pay maybe 500 rand to get in there to enjoy themselves because they really need romance. So the value she's providing is a place for romance, right? And they pay for that. Do you see what I'm talking about? Now, the other thing is, for example, if you've got, let's say those like who want to cook. Say, for example, if you go to a place like McDonald's, there are burgers there. McDonald's will make burgers while you wait. All right? They invented that whole system. They are the ones, they were the first ones. They invented that whole system, right? McDonald's was an invention. Then they've got all these burgers, but I don't personally like McDonald's. I used to like McDonald's. But because we are living in a health-conscious society, I no longer want McDonald's. I don't know what they put in there. But what if Kudzi could do a burger just like McDonald's, which literally does 3 minutes from the time you order your burger, because a burger normally takes 15 minutes, right? In 3 minutes you've got a burger. I would probably start, but that burger now is going to be healthy. It's going to have a different kind of patty, that little thing that they put between the burgers and meat and so forth. And I think it's a health burger, but I can get in 3 minutes. Those people who are tired of junk food would probably start to go to Goods. Because she's now what? She's now innovative. But there are different things that she's done. Number one, she's changed the quality of the burger. That's number one. She's innovative on that. Number two, she's also made sure that this process, which normally takes 5 minutes or whatever it is, has been squeezed into 3 minutes. So you've improved on the process. You've innovated on the process. So what the original, the end result now is a result of innovation on the content and the process. Now we start to pay. You have not invented a burger. You've just improved on it. And you've saved us time. This is what I'm talking about. That's all you do. That's all you do. With Chendai and Simon, what I simply did is that in terms of construction, these guys, they're already people who are into construction. So I don't need to go and study construction. But I understand business because I'm a banker. I understand how money moves. I understand how to build models. I'm a venture creation expert, right? So my idea was, bring these guys, I'll get you guys business. You guys do what you need to do. You concentrate on what you need to do, what you do best, which is building. I concentrate on what I do very well, which is what? Creating platforms. That was my idea, innovation, and it's working. But why did I do that? Because I can add as many people as I want. So I never say no to a job I can't do it. Because as long as I can find another Chendai, another Simon, I can keep on growing Game Changers Group. To even 20, 30, 50, 100 contractors, I can do that if I wanted. What have I done? I created a process. But don't we have construction companies around? We do. But I innovated on that. Now I've got a process that enables me to do so much more. These guys are happy because every day I'm sending them, or every other week I'm sending them to do work. So I'm making money, they are also making money. Remember what I said, social outcomes. We make money, but he's feeding his family, he's feeding, or he doesn't have a family, Who feeds his family? You see what I'm talking about?
Himself.
Exactly, yeah, he's feeding himself. He's selfish, this way. Right? So, this is value creation. Do you get what business is all about? So you must now have an idea after this to say, what am I going to do that is going to produce money? What value am I going to give to people? What value am I going to give to people that they're willing to produce? If you can define that and understand, that's your knowledge, right? Understand the potential of that idea, then understand how to unlock that potential in practical ways. And then bring it to life through either invention or innovation, you have a business. That's all. Business is simple. Business is simple. There's nothing more than this. This is business. Every business you can think about uses this process. Do you get my point? All right. Queen, are you following? Are you catching up so far?
Yes.
Yes. So I was saying that number one, you need value creation is producing something of value that people are willing to pay a price for because they consider what you're offering to be of greater value. In other words, you're solving a pain point. The need I have now is greater than, is more important to me than the money that I have in my pocket. So I'm going to part with my money because I want you to solve a problem I have. You're giving me more value than I think this 100 rand is worth. So I'll give you the 100 rand because I want the value. It's more important to me at that point. If you can get an idea like that, if you can understand that, then you know that you've got potential for business. The first ingredient is knowledge or an idea or seed. So you must have an idea of this. The next is understanding of the potential impact of your idea. How powerful is your idea? And then, of course, wisdom to understand how to unlock that potential in practical ways. How do I actually make this happen? And then lastly, through invention or innovation, you start to unlock your idea. Makes sense so far? Yes. Questions? Okay, let's go on. Let us go on. Right, number 2. We'll talk about value now, right? Now, let's talk about actually creating a venture. All right? So, let us now suppose that you have defined your idea, Simon. You know your idea. You understand how you're going to make money. You understand what value you're going to provide to people. All right? And for which they are willing to pay the money. Right? You understand the idea, you have got you understand its impact. And you also, know how to unlock value. What do you now do? This is where you now need to what? To create a venture. A venture is what you now popularly call a business. I have a problem with people who just say I'm in business and they don't have an idea. What starts first is the seed, right? The seed is the idea. That's what starts first. And then after that you create what? A venture. Are we together? The venture, those cars, they've got these little cars, Toyota Venture, Toyota Venture. You know those ventures?
Yes.
Yeah, let me use that example. It's a venture because it carries people, right? So a venture is clearly something that must carry something. A venture is what is going to carry your idea. A venture is what's going to make your idea a reality. It's now the practical application of what you know. That's why you need a business. A business is not just about having a company you've registered and a bank account that's open and there's no idea. That's not a venture. That's just a shell. Ventures are there to carry ideas. Once you've got an idea, that is when you say, I'm going to build a business. You see what I mean? You don't just build a business and there's nothing that... No, you must start with an idea. So, the purpose of a venture is to enable rollout of seed or value, and both must be feasible. So, your venture must be feasible, and the seed or the value you are creating must also be feasible. I'll explain. It is very possible to have a very good idea, a very good business idea, a very powerful, in impact, business idea, but to be able to run your venture so badly that the business fails. So you need a powerful business idea. Do you agree?
Yes.
You need to have an idea that's going to create wealth, but you also need to know how to run the venture itself. Yeah. If you get onto that venture and you're saying, I'm going to run them, but there's no fuel, just after that robot, it will stop. Right? Mm-hmm. The idea is great, but the venture is poorly managed. So if you have an idea, but you don't know how to use money, how to utilize money, how to build a business properly, to put the right systems, what will happen is that your business is going to collapse. And that is where most of us black people, that's where we fail. That's where we fail. Great business idea, but we start to misuse money. This is what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. So you need a venture that is what? That is feasible. So in other words, the way you build your business idea must be feasible. When I was young and I didn't understand business, I would try to take on too much. The idea is that, but what you do is that now, you start by hiring. You go to expensive offices, for example, in Central. You hire, I need an HR manager, I need this. Before you know it, all the money is gone. What is that? Your idea, your value, the value you're providing might actually be a good one. but your venture is not feasible. So your venture must be feasible. Build a venture that's feasible, and then build a value that's feasible. That's feasible. Makes sense, right? Great. So let's go on. Now, look at it. As the vehicle, that is the venture, it addresses the legal and administrative aspects of the business. I was saying to my wife, when she told me about this idea of hers, I said, and this is for you now, this is where you are now. This is where you are. Your idea, I think, is good, but now you need to create a venture for it. Because if you don't, this idea is going to die. Or someone will come up with it before you. You see what I mean? So you now need to create what? A vehicle which addresses the legal and administrative aspects of the business. So what do you do, for example, in this case? Now you go and register a business. The business is there to carry your idea. I'm going to register a business in the entertainment industry. That's number one. Then you know, number two, you open a bank account. You see what I'm talking about? You do your paperwork and so forth. Your idea now is ready from a what? From an administrative and legal perspective. Okay. All right? But the idea is still there. So you can have an idea, and if you don't do this, your idea may never see the light of day. This also shows you that you are serious. So people like Tendai and Simon and so forth, Queen, everybody here, have you registered your business? You see what I'm talking about? Show that you are serious. How do you operate your business? Do you have any accounting systems in your business? Or money just comes in and goes and so forth? You don't actually have any system to manage it. Do you see what I mean? How do you cost your jobs? Right? That is why you need that. But let's go on. I said today is just, we are launching, right? Now look at that. As the mechanism. So the venture now, there's the legal and administrative aspect, right? Now look at that. As the mechanism, it provides the model that you are going to use to push your value to the market. So your venture is two things. It's the administrative aspect, which allows you to just do your taxes and so forth. But now it can also become a mechanism. This is where now you say, I'm going to roll out my strategy like this. I'm going to roll out my strategy like that. Do you see what I'm talking about? That is now called what? The mechanism. Let's talk about Game Changers. Game Changers is registered. All right? I haven't got a bank account for it yet, but I'll get one. Why? Because when I start to say register for my next conference, money is going to go into my Game Changers account. And the issues of tax are going to come in. And I have an accounting, I have all these people. It's now illegal. And if they come and say, show us your taxes, I'll show them pages. But now it's also a mechanism. What is the mechanism that I have? It provides the model that you're going to use to push your value to the market. The mechanism for me is conferences. The idea is there, but my mechanism is to do conferences and business seminars, and people will pay for them. That's my mechanism. To what? To push my value to the market. Who's the market? You are the market. This is what I'm talking about. And the people who are coming in the future, they are my market. But I needed a mechanism. How do I get the value? I know this idea I have can make money for me. And Game Changers was created as also a mechanism to make me do what I need to do. So normally now when they start to say, let's introduce Raymond, what will they say? Raymond, this is the CEO of Game Changers Club. This club does this, and that. That's my mechanism. So what is your mechanism? Hey, you are learning today. I didn't learn this stuff in business school, right? I learned this stuff by practical application, where you go into business and work with so many businesses, and I read and so forth. Then I said, you know what, this is it. I think I understand this process. So your mechanism today for making money, how are you going to take this idea from where it is and push it into the market? How are you going to do that? Lindy, your mechanism. Your club is the mechanism. That is the mechanism. You're going to create this place where people come and so forth. That is your own mechanism. So you want to cook quick. What is your mechanism? It's not just going to be about, I want to cook something nice in my kitchen. It must be very clear in your mind how you are going to now use your venture. Register a business. That business will create a platform for you. But you must know, even within the business, how do I do my marketing and so forth. That becomes your mechanism. Makes sense? Are you learning something? Let's move on. Now, look at that. Number 3, point number 3. Now, when that happens, now, when you've registered your company, there's one other thing that you need to do. Not register your company, when you understand the mechanism, right? When you've created your venture, you need to do what we call, you need to develop what we call a minimum replicable unit. Minimum replicable unit. Right, I'll explain just now. Look guys, this stuff, you know, how much I charge just to do this stuff. Just this stuff per hour. I charge a lot of money for this stuff. Now look at that. Develop a minimum replicable unit. A prototype that carries value and serves as a platform for future models is needed. So, let us use the example of Lindy. So Lindy has said that I'm going to develop this club, right? That she wants to do. Before she starts to do a lot of work in it, obviously, you don't want to invest a lot of money into an idea and you're not so sure if it's going to work or not, right? You don't want, and that is the, you know, I know a company that they invested 2 million rand. When it was, you know, 2 million was 2 million rand. They invested 2 million rand in an idea. And I remember that they had never tried the model, they had not tested it or anything, they just invested 2 million rand. What? Then the stock arrived and everything. Then now we are saying, okay, what is the mechanism? There's no mechanism. Where is the market research? There's no market research. Where are the projections? There are no projections. Okay, so where is the business model? There's no business model. We know we're just going to sell and make money. And needless to say, within a year, that company closed. By the company, the time the company closed, I think they lost like 4 or 5 million rand trying to save that. What was happening? They rushed into trying to invest in a complete model, whereas they needed to develop a prototype. This is what I'm talking about. So what you do, for example, in this is that you start by something small. You don't even start something very, very big. Find a small place that can sit maybe 10 people. This is what I'm talking about. You don't even try to brand it too much and so forth. You market among your own friends. Hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Then you see, okay, the attendance is good, how is the music and so forth. Can this work? Maybe you've only spent 20,000 rand. You see what I mean? But you are testing what? You are developing a prototype that carries value and serves as a platform for future models. Let us say that really works now. That small thing works, and you can clearly see that consistently we are getting results. That is when now you go big and you now have a proper venue where you all the ways you go all out. You can even put maybe 200,000-300,000 because now you know this idea works. And that first one, if you want to open several clubs across South Africa, say you want to do one in Cape Town, one in KZN and so forth, maybe one in Limpopo. Let's say you want to have 10 of them. That first one is your prototype. This is what I'm talking about. Listen, don't be in a hurry to grow. No. Get your prototype right. My prototype for my model was Kulisa Construction. Kulisa Construction is the first one that I built. Then when I perfected that model, I then opened Inspired Consortium. Now I'm on to Ready Consulting. We're using the same model, but we are starting to let it grow because I've now perfected that. We only needed to invest money in Kulisa at first, but for the others, we don't even have to invest a lot of money anymore because now I know this thing. I figured, I know the shortcuts, I know it inside out. So you decide to do a prototype. So when I say minimum replicable unit or minimum viable product, I'm talking about the first prototype, which is not fully complete, but which gives you a very good idea of whether this thing is going to work or not. It enables you to save money. Are we together? So, Kudzi and Queen. Then you need to think about if you want to be an agri queen and everything, how are you going to make sure that you put as little money as possible, yet it functions before you throw all of it. Otherwise, you lose that 12,500, all of it. And I used to make that mistake. When I got that 4,000 pounds, I went and I bought 9 phones all at the same time. So I actually lost all of it. Whereas maybe I should just have bought 2 of them. Right? So prototype, what is your prototype? What is your minimum replicable unit? Replicable means that it can replicate. What is the one that you're going to build first, and then everyone else is going to be built on according to this prototype? They never make everything all at once, like that laptop there. They produced one first, tested it and so forth. Do you like it? They pass it around. Do you like it? And so forth. Once they realized that it was working, that's when they put all these things that you like, branding and everything, and then they must produce them. So your business must be like that. Are we together? Can I go on? Okay, cool. Now, look at that. I want this one. Develop a minimum viable product. I talked about a minimum replicable unit, where I was talking about the fact that you build this thing well. Sometimes your minimum viable product is also a minimum replicable unit. Minimum viable product is where, you know, when we talk about viable, it means that it is sort of almost complete. It's functional. It may not be the end result, but it can work. That's a viable product. But a replicable product is when you develop that viable product to a point where now it's like the prototype. In other words, it's complete, but it can be replicated in its form. For example, if you're going to open a Nando's, right? You start with one Nando's here, right? All the Nando's are the same. All the McDonald's are the same. It's the same model being replicated. Are we together? So your minimum viable product is, before you even get to the point of replication, it's the one that I was saying you use to test to see if it actually has any traction. But once you say, yes, this works, you can now, like in the case of Lindy, you can now have your club, and that club is complete. But now you can now replicate it. You have the same clubs, the same concept all over. Are we together? So your minimum viable product, once you have completed it, the next thing that you must do is that you must replicate it. But I was saying sometimes your minimum viable product and your minimum replicable product are actually the same thing. Replication comes in the event of growth, because some of the people will say, no, I don't actually want to grow. I'll just take my prototype. My prototype is my whole business. Then you end there. But you must aim to replicate, let your business grow. That's how we call it scale. Your business must grow. Never build your business to just be this small thing that you live off of. You must build it in such a way that it grows. Are we together? So for example, if I do game changers, for me, replication will probably be me doing conferences throughout South Africa. Maybe I'll do 2 conferences a year. Well, sorry, a month. You are doing them. It can easily replicate. Or maybe I can say I'm not going to do conferences. Now I'm going to franchise Game Changers Club, where people come and say, we want to be game changers. Maybe I'll create this thing where I call you must be a game changer, a certified game changer, then you can run your own conferences. Now everybody pays franchise fees to me. I no longer do my conferences that much. I now focus now on just replicating this thing. So you've got maybe 200 of these people who are part of my brand, and they pay me fees every month for it. Do you see what I'm talking about? That's called replication. But in this case, if I use that model, then here, what we are seeing here, this here is the minimum viable product. I haven't really gone all out. I'm testing my idea. This is what I'm talking about. But once this thing works, next time I do this, I will have banners here, game changers, this is and so on. You have a more visible venue and so forth. I now go all out. I invested 1,500 rand for this project, but maybe next time when I really go for it, maybe I'll invest 50,000 rand into it. So it is now moving from a minimum viable product to a proper prototype that I can now replicate. So whenever I do a conference, the setting will be the same, the information is the same, the branding is the same. It's something that is now functional. That's what I'm talking about. Right, so when I say develop a minimum viable product, I think I've already explained it. Let's see. So the minimum viable product is not the final product, but contains enough of it to give reliable feedback. We've talked about it, right? Great. Now I want to show you something here. Your idea or seed or value must just be enough to indicate prospects of success in the market. The reason why most businesses fail, yeah, I'm getting to the end actually. The reason why most businesses fail now, the reason why most businesses fail is that we put too much resources into it before we have what? Before we have got to the prospects of success in the market. We don't know how they are like. You pour all your resources there. No, don't do that. Just spend as little money as possible. Are we together? Make a minimum viable product first. see if it works, if it's loved, then you go big. Is that okay? Now listen to this. We're on number what now? I've done how many points now?
4.
I'm sure it's more than 4. I think we're on number 5 or something like that. Right, anyway, the next thing that you need to do is you need to prove traction at all costs. At all costs, prove what? Prove traction. What do I mean by that? Yeah, we are raising millionaires here. You know. Traction is best tested by piloting, which enables you to fail successfully. Have you ever heard about failing successfully? You fail successfully, you know. So, you've got a minimum viable product. Let us say that you've got an idea, right? This is the process. You've got an idea, and that idea can produce value that people can buy, right? You also understand the impact, the potential reach of this idea, right? You've got wisdom. You also know how to actually roll it. You create your venture. Your venture is going to be the mechanism for you to spread your idea, right? And it also helps you with the legislative issues and legal issues and administrative issues, right? You've got that. Now you get to a point where you are going to start to develop the product itself or the service. Sometimes it can be a service, right? So first of all, you've got your minimum viable product, all right? You develop it, you test it. Let's say people want it. No, we like your burger. We like this and so forth. Now you develop it into a prototype. In other words, it's ready for the market, all right? Do you at that point just pour everything that you have? Or do you first of all pilot? You don't just throw everything you have. You then prove traction. So if people in this room say, we like your product, we like your service, we like this game changers idea, Raymond, right? I must now do a pilot for it. That is where now I have what is called in movies a limited release. You see, is it working? What movies do is that they don't just start by releasing movies all over the world. Usually they've got these canes, where they debut the movie and they have a limited release afterwards. Then they've got what they call the wide release. This small one is to test how does the movie connect with people. Then if they like it, then they have a limited release. Before they book too many cinemas and all that, they see, is this movie going to actually become a blockbuster or not? If the limited release is very, very good, then they have the wide release because now they realize we're going to make money. So that is called the pilot. Don't throw all your money into a business before you have tested traction. So traction shows you, does your idea have legs, Roland? Can it actually work? Does it have legs? Does it have legs beyond your immediate family members? Can it work in the market that you are targeting? Does it make sense? So the reason for that is that if you are going to fail, you fail successfully because you might have failed, then you say, okay, hang on, my pilot didn't actually go as planned. What could be the reason? You do your market research, okay, well, why did you not like my product and so on? No, actually there's a better product already in the market, you are too late. Oh, so I'm not going to spend millions into this thing anymore because there's even another one. So let me go back and make it better than the latest one. Then you come back, you do another pilot, improve your traction. If it works this time, that's when you scale, you go big. Does it make sense? So most of us lose money because we put too much money in an idea before it's really ready, before you put enough information about is it going to work or not. They say that your aim in life must be to fail quickly. Failing is not the problem. Just don't take too long failing. Fail quickly so that you can move on. Time is a very precious resource. Are we together? So what you do now is this. You say, okay, it didn't work, so I must try another way. Then this didn't work, I must try another way. Before you know it, you'll finally have your business. So don't be afraid to fail, but just fail successfully and fail quickly. So there's a kind of failing which is very expensive. You fail a year later when you've put hundreds of thousands of rands into a project. That's not smart. You're going to fail within the first 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Just know already that this is not going to work. And the only way to fail quickly is to prove traction first before you want to release. Are we together? Do you see how you think about a business? This is the model that I use to build all my businesses. It's very easy. I've come to a point now where I don't actually spend that much money in a business. I don't. I know the processes so well. I know when to spend money. I know when not to spend money. Do you see what I mean? Now let us go to the last word. I'm going to give you some homework now. Now look at that. Number 7. What is it? 7? I don't know. 6 or 7. Have a clear scale path. Have a clear scale path. Now remember what I said. I said our market here is not people. My market here is not people who just want to buy bread and have. No. I'm talking about millionaires. How do you become a millionaire? How do you become a multi-millionaire? How do you produce something that is going to real social outcomes? This is what I'm talking about. Now look at that. Look at that. Have a clear scale path. Scale path is where now you scale your business. You replicate it. It's now all over. This is what I mean. Now you've got game changers every other month in different cities. Next month I'm in Cape Town. The other month I'm in Harare. I'm in New York. I'm doing that. I'm now all over the place. That's called scale. You are scaling your business model. I'm no longer just dealing with 6 people or 7 people. You are now scaling your business. I don't have Kulisa Construction only anymore. I now have Inspired Consult. I've got Ready Consulting. I've got business. I keep on expanding them. I no longer have like 5 contractors working for me. I now have 100 of them. That's how you scale your business. You no longer just have one small club in Braamfontein for Christians, right? You now have a couple of them all over the place. You no longer have one plane, Tony. Sorry, Roland. You no longer have one plane, you now have an airline. Do you see the difference? You no longer have one small kitchen, Queen's Kitchen. You now have 20 of them throughout. This here, ladies and gentlemen, is where money is made. If you build everything I've taught you today and you get to this point and you master this, that's where you make real money. So a lot of people never get to the stage where they make real money because they never get to this level here. They never get here. So my whole idea of game changers, this game changers class, over the next 6 months is to get you to a point where you scale your business. That's where money is made. Because if one restaurant is making you 5,000 rand a month profit, 10 of them will make you 50,000 rand a month. But if one restaurant is making you 20,000 rand a month, 10 of them will make you 200,000 a month. That's 2.4 million profit a month. Do you see what I'm talking about? If Simon is making me 20,000 rand a month, and Tendai is making me 20,000 rand a month, then between the two of them is 40,000. But if I've got 20 of them, now I've got 400,000 rand a month. I'm giving examples. I'm not saying that's what's happening. So the scale aspect is where money is made. So your business must be geared. All that we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen, was coming to this place where you must understand this. So once you have understood your whole thing and your business and you've built it, when you get to a point where you have a scale path, you know you're getting ready to make a lot of money. So this is the thing that I want to just sort of conclude by. Your scale plan is the key to creating real wealth and not just subsistence. Now look at that word subsistence. Subsistence is hand to mouth, you see. So basically this is where you are saying that, you know what, I'm going to be doing this because I just wanted to pay my daughter's school fees and I need to sell some tomatoes because I need food, or I need to do this and that. That is called subsistence. But I'm not talking about subsistence. I'm talking about wealth creation. You see what I mean? So that 20,000 rand in your account, you can't call that wealth. That's not wealth. Because if you don't get paid next week, you are back to square one. You know, a lot of us are one paycheck away from poverty. If you don't get paid, and that's it. Everything falls and collapses. But you're aware you're driving a nice car, you live in a nice house, you eat good food. But all of that is sustained by a salary at the end of the month. That's not wealth. I'm talking about money. I'm talking about real money that you can invest. You can live for the next 6 months. They say that you must aim to have at least 6 months worth of resources every time. So that if anything happens to you, you can still live for the next 6 months without worrying about where is the rent coming from, or where is the board coming from, or where is the fuel coming from. At that point, you know you're living a comfortable life. Now, sadly, very few people ever get to that place. We all live from hand to mouth. In other words, we are subsistence. University education, everything that you were taught was designed to make you a subsistent person. All this education that we went to, I'm educated. I've got a degree in mathematical sciences. But that degree, all it did was produce a person who was subsistent because I needed to look for a job. You see how the system does it? Universities and schools and all this, these are breeding grounds for employees, for the big corporates. Do you know what I'm talking about? We are trapped, guys. We're in a rat race. We're in a rat, you're going in circles. No, and you see these guys, no, I'm an MBA, and they're proud of it. I'm this, and this. You know, and they're looking for a job. Why? Subsistence. We are designed, our schooling system is designed not to make us entrepreneurs who create this process, but to find people who have created this process and then say work for them. That's how we are designed, how to be a good employee. Do you know what I mean? Even our parents, how many of you guys were told, no, you must go to school, because if you don't go to school and you don't score good grades, you're not going to make it in life. Do you see what I'm talking about? I want to ask you something. How many of you guys that you know who used to be number 1 at school, or number 2, or number 3, have made real money in this world? How many of you do? Have you noticed? I'm talking about real money. Very few. But I've seen, I'm going to confess, I've seen people I thought were down who have done very well in life. And I'm like, no, that's not right. That's not what I was told. I was told, if you do well, you know, there's a guy that I used to go to school with. And I met with him for coffee here. He was not really that intelligent. You know, he was one of those people that you say, yeah, you know, when you talk about this guy, he's, now he's telling me I was doing a project for 100 million there. I'm like, you can do a project for 100 million, but you're not that smart, my friend. You're not that smart. People actually made fun of you. You were doing a project for 100 million when I was still doing projects for 1 million, right? But there's not even a single day that he ever, did better than me in school. Do you see what I mean? What is that? We've been trained to be subsistent. But I'm saying you need to be liberated from that subsistence thinking, and you need to transition into what? Into wealth building. And the key to wealth building is these 7 steps I've given you. Do you see what I'm talking about? So you must have what? Your scale plan. What is your scale plan tonight for your company? What is your scale plan, Simon? For queens, for other queens. What is your scale plan? Queen, what is your scale plan? Your scale plan. Do you know what I'm talking about? I think you got something today, right? Right. Like I said, today is about launching game changers to show you guys what we're trying to do. The last thing that I want to just address is this one. Target a clear return on investment. Right? Target a clear return on investment. Now look at what I wrote there. I want to explain this. Be extremely conscious of return on investment and ensure that every decision made furthers that goal. Return on investment is this. How much money you put in business, how much resources you put in business, of your time, your efforts, your money, everything. At the back of your mind, you should have something that says, this is what I'm aiming for. Do you know what I'm talking about? It may not always come that way, but you must have a clear idea of what you're trying to get. What am I trying to get from game changers? From this, what is my return on investment? Why am I putting this 1,500 rand that I was talking about? Why am I sacrificing my salaries? Because I want to get to a point where a month will give me an extra 20, 30,000 rand. In addition to what I'm doing. So if I do 4 weekends, then every 1 weekend gives me 20,000 rand, I've got my 80 grand. That's my return on investment. It's what I'm talking about. So, for example, could say, if you invest that 12,500 in agri-queens and so forth, what are you targeting per month? What about per year? This is what I'm talking about. Simon, your business, how much do you want it to give a return to you? It's not about just waking up and saying we've got work to do today. You must be building something towards something. Say after everything is done and said, I want to be worth 10 million rand. I want to be worth 5 million rand. You see what I'm talking about? You must be clear about where you're going. And don't be afraid to say, I want to be worth 100 million. You must target that. Don't be afraid to say, I want to be a billionaire. You must target that. Then what happens when you do that? This return on investment, being extremely conscious of return on investment, ensures that every decision made furthers that goal. If you know where you're going, your Saturdays will change. How you spend your Saturdays will change. How you spend time after hours will change. How you do your thing, who you hang out with changes because you know where you're going. But if you don't, you hang out with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. You see what I'm talking about? I was giving an example of, now imagine if you were just a person who doesn't really have any particular return on investment. If Tendai says, hey, I've got a bride at my house, you'll be like, I'll be there. Then someone says, hey, tomorrow I also have a bride, I'll be there. Then the next time is Roland says, I'm booking you for next week and I'll be there. Why? Because you don't have anything to do. But if you're like, guys, I've got a timetable, I'm going somewhere, I'll be like, you know what, Tendai, I would love to. But there's some things I need to do. I'm going to be launching my club today, Game Changers. Because what? I know where I'm going. So your time and your work ethic, the reason, listen to me, the reason why we have got people that are lazy or people that don't want to work is they don't understand what they're trying to get out of life. You know those people who are always, trying not to do any work or trying not to develop anything. It's because they are not actually going anywhere. Because if you know where you are going will change the decisions that you make on a day-to-day basis. Is what I'm talking about. So where is the place for laziness? If you know that I must build towards something, where is the place for just floating around like a social butterfly? If you know where you're going, there's no place for that. Because now you are conscious of where you're going. So you see you guys who are doing business, you see after this, you will change the way you're doing business. Because why? Now you understand where I'm going. Before you accept an invite, you will think about, hang on, between what you are saying I must do and what I know I need to do to get where I am, what is more valuable? So even when you do a drive or something like that, or go for a swim or go for a movie, it is because you've made a decision, not blindly. You know, this is my time. I'm allocating time for myself to be with my family and so forth. This is what I'm talking about. Great. Is there anything left in there? Just one last statement. Now look at that. With a clear result in mind, unproductive habits are challenged and productive ones are what? Are cultivated. So you are a game changer, right? You are a game changer, right? You know where you're going, right? Now because you know where you're going, you now need to work on your idea every day. The things that you do with your free time, are they furthering your return on investment or not? Are you going to have a return on investment or there will be no return on investment because in the first place there was no investment? Every day of your life you must be investing in your dream. Tony, relax. Every day of your life you must be investing on something because after you've invested, only then will you get a return. So, please, let's stop this habit of always talking, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. I've given you a whole strategy, which is very simple. It's how simple I've made it. So what you need to do now is to go and work on your ideas. Are we together? Now, I'm going to conclude this by giving you some homework. We're going to meet here again in 4 weeks' time in this room. When you come back, okay, I think there's something else here. Okay. Remember, do not blame the bacon when the butcher bakes the bread. Who can make sense of that? Do not blame the bacon when the butcher bakes the bread. That's just a joke. It means absolutely nothing. Some people are like scratching you. It's like, okay, in the context of return on investment, what is it trying to say? Now listen, I want to give you a homework, okay? I want to give you a homework. I want to ask you, every one of you, send me your email address. All right? Send me your email address. Because this is what I want to do. Okay? I'm going to start helping you now to actually go into the practicals. Today was the introduction, right? Now I'm going to show you what you need to do. We're going to start to build the model itself, like I said, right? We're going to be practical. This is number one. I've got 7 of these. I've got 7 items that we're going to work on over the next 6 months, right? So I've given you the background. Now, what I want you guys to do is to start building your business model. I'm going to send you this Excel spreadsheet. And what you're going to do is you're going to start to populate it with practical things. And as you populate it, you're going to be doing those things. This program is designed to make you have a business. Do you see the difference? It's not designed to make you understand. It's designed to make you have a business. Because some of you get frustrated and say, you know what, I don't think this is for me because now I actually have to do it. And I think you are not a game changer. Or maybe your time is just not right because we now say, you are at school and so on. But if you keep on coming to this, you will have a business whether you like it or not. Because if I say in 6 months I want to see this, and you must have done this, it means you're going to get busy. And this is where my value proposition as Game Changers Club is. I don't talk about business. I help you create business. And we work together step by step. You will have a business. Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. So look at what I want you to do. Number 1, business model. I actually give you notes there, so you read. What is a business model? The big idea in brief, your business model is the way in which your business creates, delivers, and captures value. Put differently, your business model is the plan you implement to generate revenue and earn profit from operations. We think of business models as fully addressing 5 fundamental topics. Number 1, your product or service, your offering, your target customer, your value proposition, operations, and management. Don't worry, you'll see it. It will guide you. So here, for example, product or service offering. So I will start by saying, define what your service is. What is your product? Remember that value that we're talking about. What is it that you're going to actually give? In other words, what you sell. What are you selling? Is it a product or a service, right? Then we say here, description. What are the major products and or services you offer? Be sure to differentiate between categories if appropriate. So for example, in terms of Kulisa, I would say number 1, my service is number 1. We do construction, we build. Number 2, I do renovations. Number 3, I develop green technologies. Those are my products. Right. Let me use an example with Lindy. So for example, with Lindy, what is your product or service? Number 1, we offer entertainment, right? And then you define entertainment. We have got poetry, number 1. We have got, what is it called? Music, right? We've got bands. You see what I'm talking about? That's what you offer to people. Then number 2, we offer food. So there's also going to be food. Then number 3, we offer books because there's going to be books. So all those things are what you offer in that club of yours. You see what I'm talking about? Now with you, I know it's your agri products, right? Dried nuts, dried this. So all of those, you mentioned each one by name. All of those become your products. So Simon, for example, what does your business do? Then you must write all of these things in detail. Under construction, I just said construction, but under construction, you're actually going to make it very detailed. For example, I do waterproofing, I do dam proofing. Do you see what I mean? I do roofing and so forth. That becomes your product. What are you doing? You're now getting to understand your business inside out. Do you see what I mean? Now look at that. I'm not actually going to go through everything. I want you to just have an idea. Okay, sorry. Right. So it goes, I want you to have an idea so that we can, because we have to wrap this up now. Okay, so there's your business model, then you've got your product. The second section, features for each product or service. What are the key features? How do these features compare to the competition? You see what I mean? So you start to say our waterproofing is different in that we use this kind of technology or this kind of product. Others use old ones, like you're talking about torch and so forth. So if you're going to market yourself to the mall, you're going to show why your product is better. Why will people come to your club, Lindy? This is where now you say what are the features of that thing. This is what I'm talking about. Now look at that. I'm just giving you examples. What are the benefits? You see? But why? Why should I use? What is the value in this club? What is the value in our? Why can't I just go and buy fresh nuts? Then you need to show them, no, but they live longer, so they last longer and so forth, right? That's your benefits. Then you go on to technical details, if technical, or explain how your products or service functions. For some of you, for example, you are going to be doing drying of the nuts and everything. You need to actually explain here, because this is for you. How do you actually dry? What is the drying process? That's what I'm talking about. And that's the same thing for you guys. When you talk about your products, you need to be very clear of what is the technical aspect of it. How do you do it? What is the process? That's what I'm talking about. So if it's construction, for example, you say that you go to site first, you check site, you do your quotation, then you buy your products. That's what I mean. Then you start by applying this and then that. Basically, this is just to help you understand your model, right? Then you go to stage of development. So stage of development, for example, with you, where are you in your stage of development? Have you got the machines? Have you got everything that is needed for that or not? So this thing is designed to make you think very, very clear. Competitive advantage. Are your products or services protected, or are they copyrighted or patented? Do they require special know-how or skills to produce? Do they contain a secret ingredient? What is going to set you apart? What is going to be the key? For example, your competitive advantage is that it's a sanctified club, right? So to speak. That is a competitive advantage. Right? But what about you, Kuds? What is your competitive advantage? What about the others who are also offering this business, when they offer dried nuts? What sets you apart? No. No. So I mean, I'm trying to get you to think, right? Because now some of us, we are doing business, maybe we're actually making money, but we don't even know why the business is working. All you know is my business is working, but why is it working? I don't know. You know, it's the favor of God. Yes, it's the favor of God, but how is that favor translating? Do you see what I mean? Now look at that. Pricing strategy. What is the pricing strategy for each product? Is it low cost, value-based, market-based, premium? In other words, are you going to undercut the market where you come and say, I'm going to offer you guys something lower than market value so that I can attract? So for me, this is called like a private, it's a low cost where basically I just don't charge anything. There are people who offer this kind of service, but my entry into this market is by offering free seminars for a while until my name grows, or Game Changers Club is well known. Then I start to charge, even maybe more. You know Tata, that couple Tata, they sell cheap cars, right? But Mercedes is not going to compete with Tata. With Mercedes, it's called premium. You only target a certain class of people who don't want to be seen dead or alive in a Tata Indica. You see what I mean? Right. But I think you get the idea. So what I want to ask you to do, after sales strategy, what do you do in terms of after sales product development and so forth? You know, target customer segments. Who is your target market? There's a lot of stuff here. Value propositions. What is your unique selling point? Why are customers willing to pay for your product? You see all these things. Operations. Now you talk about the operations. Basically, this thing is going to help you really understand what in the world today am I doing in South Africa. When we finish with this, I'll add another one. Maybe that one will focus on marketing. By the time you are done, you'll know what you're doing. You'll know how to make money. You'll know what your scale path is. You'll know exactly what you need to do. So your homework is to fill this. And when we come next month, right, write this. Just write this. Just write homework. Right. Number one, I want you to bring this thing, right? It must be clear. In fact, not just bring it, but you must email these things to me, or you must have them complete at the very least. If there's something you don't understand, I'll also give you my email address. We can talk about it. What do you mean by this? Make use of your internet, research things like what is premium pricing, what is value. Research those things. You do some homework. That's why it's called a Game Changers class. Right? So if you guys were running away from school, we are back to school. You know. So number one, you fill this thing up, right? You develop your business model. Number two, I want you to also come prepared to talk a little bit about your idea and what you have done about this. I want you to understand that this is not a theoretical class, it's a practical class. I want you to show me 3 things that you have done to move towards the realization of your idea. And for you guys who already have businesses, I want you to mention 3 things that you have changed about the way you do your business as a result of what we discussed here today, and as a result of what you're going to now complete on your Excel spreadsheet. 3 things. Every one of you must have 3 things. Tony, you are excused because you're at school.
Roland.
But you can still do your business model. Whatever you want to do, start to say, this is what I would like to do. Eh?
3 things.
3 things. I said you must have 3 things that you have done. In the next month, you must do 3 things about your idea. These 3 things are to move you towards the realization of your idea. Okay? And I think we end there. We end there. Now, I've been asking about questions. 5 minutes. Questions. Let's see if anyone has got any questions. Please feel free to ask. If you didn't understand something. Right. Yes, Lindy.
So if you've got more than one idea, is it okay if you have to fill in 3 of these?
Yeah, you can, if you've got the time, but you'll find that I've done this thing. This thing is exhaustive, right? So you can do 3 things. You can. It's up to you if you're willing to put in the hours. However, if you kind of have a good idea what you're going to do, I encourage you to stick to that one, because this is pretty exhaustive. It's going to require a lot. It might look like it's just that, no, this will take you 3 weeks to fill that thing alone, or even 4 weeks. It will. It's a lot. Yeah, you want to make money, right? Put in the effort. Put in the investment. If you've got 3 ideas, it's fine. You can do 3 different ones. I'm just warning you that it's going to take a lot of your time. But again, you have time.
If you, okay, let's say you don't know which one will work, then how do you know? How do you choose? How do you know if it'll work or not?
Okay, so you see the process I was go over these notes. I'm going to share these notes with you. Go over these notes again and think about, test your idea against those 8 points I think I gave you. Test your idea through those. Okay, number 1, can I actually translate it to value? Number 2, how powerful is it? Is it as powerful as I want it to be? Right. Number 3, do I have the means? Do I think I can make it work? You see what I mean? Number 4, will it give me the kind of return that I want? Those kinds of things. Right? It might be that your 3 ideas might all work, but which one is most likely to work right now? What I want you to focus on is something that will give you money right now that you have. If you're at that point where you want to start business, I would encourage you to focus on the first one. It may not be the biggest of them, but the most important thing is to what? Is to begin. So for example, if you've got an idea that's going to give you 5,000 rand a month profit, I think that's a good idea. Right? Maybe the one that you want to do will give you 100,000 rand a month. But maybe in terms of where you are, remember that wisdom, unlocking now, it might take longer. So what you want to do is that start with something that's going to give you money as soon as possible. Then you can also be developing the bigger one, the more longer term type of thing. So you can also work like that. So I'm not saying don't work on your ideas. You can work on all 3, but I think you need to have right now what we call low hanging fruit, the one that's most likely to take off quickly, even if it's not going to be the biggest one. Right. So I started with police construction. I'm now able to do all the other things because the first one to generate money is usually the best because it can start to fund others. It sets you free from, poverty and being broke and so forth. Then you can really do what you need to do. You know what they say? Sometimes you must do what you need to do in order to do what you want to do. All right? Yeah. Are you answered? Right. So you can just check against that thing and see which one is most likely to start working. And I know your idea about the club, that's more of a longer term thing.
Yeah, that one I don't remember do now, so that's why I was thinking maybe there's 2 other ideas that I have, but those 2 ideas are also a bit long term as well.
Yeah, but try to find, let's do this. I'm coming to you today. Let's do this. I would say for you, work on the club, because that idea is really, really great.
But
Work on it in the background.
But the other two ideas are really, really great as well.
Oh, okay, cool. So work on something that you can. No, because I like it, guys. Yeah, you know when guys. I like it for the pilots. I like it for the club. For you, it may not be mine, but I think if I was going to invest, I would invest in the club because I think it's really, really good, right? So try to work on something that can generate your money as quickly as possible,
Okay.
right? But also try to have an idea, if it's different, that can really work very well in the long term.
Okay, I also wanted to add on a question, right?
Yeah, sure.
You have 3 ideas. Let's say they are amazing, right?
Mm.
But can you do all these 3 things at the same time?
Yeah.
At the same time, no, I think it will drain you. That's why you have. That's why you said you need one that you're gonna grow from, so
Yes.
you can actually be able to do the other 3.
Okay.
So
Absolutely.
focus on the best one
All right.
that you can do. Then from there you can branch into other things. Yeah.
I get you.
Once you do your first one, guys, the sky is the limit. You can. And especially because now you know your systems, right? The reason why, my wife would tell you that I'm one of those guys. Yes, I do get busy, but I've got plenty of free time. Plenty of free time. With all this, why? Because I've now understood and I've invested in systems. Tomorrow we're going to have church. And we're going to have a powerful service. That's what I'm talking about. And for you, you see the notes that are there. You literally have to research a lot. It's because you've managed now to understand your model. You will grow better, and you do more and more and more. The sky is the limit. But the most important thing is, let us start with the idea that's going to give you money right now. All right? And then you can work on the longer term one. I would say you can work on both of them, but in terms of practical application, I just choose one. One is enough. And the way business is that before you have done, and as some of you guys have never done business, and it's like someone goes to the gym. Your first day at the gym, you see this guy, who are very strong, and something in you starts to say, I want this today, So you go, and then you do push-ups, and then you do, shoulder presses, and then you do all these things, and so on. You do squats, you are doing everything. And then you start to see your muscles swelling, and then you're like, yeah, it's working, it's working. You don't understand that you're just swollen, When you get home now, the next morning,
you can't even walk.
You can't walk.
It happened to me.
It happened
to me. The first time I started gymming, I gymmed so much, my arms started swelling. I thought, yeah, it's working. I stayed home from school 2 days.
So you see, the thing is, it's like that in business too. Because some of you, when I was talking now, you've got so many ideas. Like,
Yeah.
You know what? I could do this. I can do this. No, start with one.
So you can
Start
have
with
time
one.
to breathe as well. 'Cause you
Start
can't
with-
go from this idea to this
Exactly.
one and to this one.
Exactly. You need time to breathe. You definitely need time to breathe. So find one, and my recommendation is find the simplest one. Don't find the most complicated one yet. Now you will grow into that. Find the simplest one. All right? Right. Let's have another question. Yes, Scream.
Okay, let's say I had an idea and I tried it and it failed.
Mm.
Can I still try it again?
Yeah, with what you know now.
Oh,
Remember those 7 steps that I showed you. If your idea is going through those ones, chances are it might this time work differently.
okay.
All right. Now remember, one of the things about Game Changers Club is that not only do we have these sessions, I will become your personal mentor, your personal coach. You can phone me anytime. You can send me an email if you're not clear about something. This is the situation I'm now presented with. What do? I can help you figure that out. I will not make the decisions for you, but I can help you. Okay. So that's part of my value proposition, where I become a personal coach to you, a personal mentor to you. All right. So let's try it, go do the revision. But also with what I'm giving you now, you'll know whether to pursue it or not. This thing is self-guiding. You will know whether it's going to work or not. You will know, like, this is not going to work. I'm wasting my time. Let me look for something else. Are you answered?
Yes.
Yes?
Mm.
Who else? Any more questions? Yeah.
Sometimes you hear these stories of the guy that never gave up on his dream.
Yeah.
Like pushed through, even though it failed, went through it again, and over time, it eventually worked.
Yeah.
How do you know when you're just wasting your time then? Like, because you've got these stories that are motivating you, that they persevered through their dream, even though it didn't work the first time, it didn't work the second time, but it worked third time. How do you know you're not just wasting your time?
So I've got, I think, 3 points to that. Number one, usually those guys don't have access to this kind of information.
That's true.
The dream maybe was always going to work, but they just didn't know what we know. And that is the whole point of having Game Changers Club and Game Changers classes. My job is, what was going to take you 10 years to work, I want to help you make it work in 1 year. Oftentimes, those guys you're talking about lose everything. It doesn't have to be that painful, this process of starting a business. A lot of us, and if you read those guys, because I read a lot of them make mistakes. They make mistakes. Steve Jobs, at one point, was even fired by his own company because he kept on developing a prototype, and he thought the market is going to be ready in so many months, and then it keeps on changing and so forth. And then the company started to run out of money. You see, because you also don't understand. So what I'm saying is that, number one, most of these guys, it's an issue of wisdom. Remember I talked about wisdom. They may have the value, an idea that can be translated into value, but they don't know the process of bringing that to pass in a cost-effective manner or in an efficient way. Right? That's number one. Then now, number two, they are what I call inventors. I explained to you about inventors. Inventors are people who are able to think beyond what everybody else generally can see. I said they offer original solutions. The problem with inventors is that sometimes they have to wait for the market to catch up with their thinking. If you're the kind of person who sees things like that, and you know that this idea is going to work, then go for it. Even if it takes you your whole lifetime, go for it. So those are the two possibilities. Either someone who didn't know the process of how to build a business out of an idea that they have, or it's someone who's seeing what everybody else can't see. And Steve Jobs was an example of that kind of a person. Now, a lot of people like to talk about, no, a lot of the rich guys are college dropouts. Have you ever heard of that? You know, but I've noticed something. There's something I've learned. People who drop out of college and they make money, they didn't drop out of college because they were not doing well in college. They dropped out because they were ahead of their time. The reason why Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard, was it Harvard? I don't remember if it was. The reason why he dropped out of Harvard or Stanford, I don't remember, was because he realized what he was being taught. You know, he was far ahead of it. While they were still teaching these basic things, which are historical, he had a vision to bring a personal laptop, a personal computer. That's why it's called PC. It's a personal computer at home. Computers used to be the size of this place. The first computer, I think it was the size of this place. The server was this big. And they were extremely expensive. Only governments could afford computers and big corporates. But Bill Gates wanted to have a personal laptop. Everyone. That was his vision. So he dropped out of college to pursue that dream. But he was still intelligent. He was so brilliant. This is what I'm talking about. So those are inventors. Those are people who see into the future. And if you've got an idea where you clearly see, you know what, I know where I'm going with this thing. People don't understand, but this is the future. There's a guy called Elon Musk right now. Elon Musk, nobody's thinking about it, but the man is obsessed with providing space transportation at a far cheaper cost than everybody else. People started to laugh at him and say, you know what, you're crazy. But now he finally, I think he did 2 or 3 attempts before he finally successfully launched a private rocket into orbit. The first time it's been done in the history of the world. And now we got a contract with billions of dollars with NASA. People were like, what's wrong? We've got Tesla, the company is doing very well, your electric cars are doing well. It's a man ahead of his time. Right? So if you've got a conviction that your idea is going to work, stick with it. But I think at some point, you really have to submit it to this process. Because there are a lot of people who also say that this idea is going to work and it never went. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's a fine balance. And on such things, I think it just depends on how much you're willing to invest in it. I would say, for purposes of what we're trying to do, I would say, if an idea is not going to go past the traction phase, just leave it. You can pursue that big one when you have enough money. and making it in that business or not makes no difference. But I would say right now focus on things that are actually going to have an impact on your lives now. That's just wisdom, right? Right, any more? Any more questions? All right, Kudzi.
Are we supposed at the end of 6 months be running a fully functional business or
Or
such as to
that is the whole point here.
Okay, and the challenge.
What is the challenge?
Like there are certain certificates that I'm supposed to have. So I don't think within 6 months I'll have attained them. But however, I will be able to supply the informal sector.
That's okay, that's all right. Just generate money. The idea is to start.
Okay.
Because you see what we're trying to do here, guys, is that we are trying to avoid this becoming another motivational seminar where people, I really don't like motivational speakers. I don't like them. Because I feel like they make you feel good. What I want to do is to, if you are going to be motivated, be a practical motivator, like what we are doing here. Me now, I'm more of an executor, all right? People sometimes say I'm a motivational speaker. I'm not a motivational, I'm an executor. I get people to do stuff. Maybe you can say I'm a motivational executor. Yeah, that works. You see? So the idea is do something about it. So in your case, Kudzi, let us say that at the end of 6 months, you're not able to actually have a fully fledged business. But you should be reporting every month to say, I've now registered, I've got certificate number 1, I'm doing this. Let us see that there's progress. You saw what I mean? The only person I excuse Jay is Tony because Roland, because he's starting to be a pilot, right? But even from you, Roland, at the end of it, we just want to see what your business is. Then we'll know that one day, wherever you go, you'll be like, oh, I think the time is now right. But every one of you should do something. So with you, Lindy, you can also start to do something. We should see progress. Otherwise, if you are looking for a motivational speaker, you're in the wrong place. Here we're executors. We get things done. All right? All right. Shall we close it or any more questions? I think today was good, right? How many people learned something new today? All right. Are you going to implement this stuff?
Yes.
Right. So what you need to do is next between now and then, if this stuff helps you, now start to bring more people. With that, by revising what we covered, and we go next month I'll be doing so I'll be doing more like module number 2, then we'll move you and so forth. Okay. But I would like this name. You guys benefited for free. The only payment I require from you is to bring a few more business people. Let's get this thing starting, right? That's how my business model is also going to work. So everybody wins. Okay.